Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich. Man, I got the Blue Pillar in here. I got the sister Kimora on the phone lines with us, joining us. This is the sister that everybody keeps talking about, Mount Shasta, and this is the sister that's responsible for putting it together. Am I correct?
Yeah, she's the sister that facilitates, the booking, and her wonderful energy is the energy that the majority of us coalesce around. She's the mama of the retreat.
Welcome to the show, sis, Kimora.
Give thanks. Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed.
So listen, this retreat is coming. I mean, it's happening at a real special time this time around, Blue Pill.
Yes, absolutely.
Yo, all right. There's a total solar eclipse happening. This is an event that happens once in a lifetime. This is an event that hasn't happened in 99 years. This is an event that once we experience it next month, we won't be around the next time it happens.
We won't be.
Right.
This is an experience that the ancients have talked about. They've written stories about. There's books written about it. How governments have fallen. I mean, there's all types of things about these solar eclipses, man. Let me just read a brief article from space.com so that people could just hear what space.com has to say.
Yes, please.
On August 21st, 2017, people across the United States will see the sun disappear behind the moon, turning daylight into twilight, causing the temperature drop rapidly and revealing massive streamers of light streaking through the sky around the silhouette of the moon. On that day, America will fall under the path of a total solar eclipse. They're calling this one the Great American Solar Eclipse, by the way, because it's only visible in America.
Absolutely.
So whatever energy this is casting, America will get hit the hardest with it. Good or bad, I don't know. That's what I'm here to talk to you guys about today. Right. Let me just read one more little brief paragraph. The so-called Great American Total Solar Eclipse will darken skies all the way from Oregon to South Carolina along a stretch of land about 70 miles wide. People who descend upon this path of totality for the big event are in for an unforgettable experience. Wow.
Yes.
The Great American Total Eclipse, man. Talk to me about what's going on with this. So many stories about it in antiquity.
This is a very exciting time. Somebody such as myself who has patented a lot of their research around eclipse. I did the whole blood moonologue, 4 tetrad eclipse dialogue and breakdown, and I've showed people how, this energy that hits the planet, this lunar energy, creates it casts as a shadow. And in particular with the blood moons, that shadow, if an eclipse is casting a 6-month shadow of energy, when you have the blood moons, you're casting 30 and 60 year shadows. So this particular eclipse, this is a shadow, that's going to be cast for, it's a very pronounced shadow that this will be casting. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be falling during a time when Mercury is also in retrograde, So
wow.
We think about communication, you know what I'm saying? And they normally tell you solar flares knock out communication and you got to watch out for the X-class solar flares and this, that, and the other. But we have this solar eclipse coming where, like you said, this country will be descending into a period of darkness. For the people that pretty much keep up with mythology and what have you, this is a very auspicious time, especially with the politics being what it is in this country at this particular time. So I look forward to it. We definitely have prepared and arranged this retreat around this phenomena for the people to not only participate in the healing, redemptive qualities of what we have to offer at the Mount Shasta retreat, but we're also going to be in the path of totality okay, up there in the western corridor of the country, in California and Oregon. Okay, so the sister can tell you more precisely where it is that we plan to be at specifically for this upcoming eclipse.
Even outside of it being this, spectacular event of the eclipse, we're still, the retreat itself starts on the 17th, which is a Thursday, and we'll still be in and around Mount Shasta, exploring, meditating, soaking, just filling up all the vibes of the Mount Shasta area Thursday through Sunday. Monday is the actual day of the eclipse, and we have to be in Oregon in order to be in that path of totality. So we're going to explore in Oregon the day before, and then that morning of the eclipse, which is actually only going to last about 2.5 minutes. And in order to experience the fullness of it, again, you have to be in the path of totality, which stretches from Oregon to South Carolina. Like you said, it's just a 7-mile wide strip that stretches across the country, and that's on Monday. So it's kind of going to be sort of the culmination of the retreat itself, because we're still going to do all our sacred plant ceremony that we do. We've been doing crystal bowl alchemy healing sessions, which you can only experience in Shasta. We've been soaking in waters that have mineral contents and high vibrational levels that you can only experience in Shasta. We're going to be on different parts of the mountain this time that we haven't been able to access before because they were closed due to all the snow. The snow is melting, so we get to go to Panther Meadow and all these other areas on Mount Shasta where people have all these profound spiritual experiences, or see orbs and see orc fields and really deeply intensified meditation experiences. So we'll do all of that. The eclipse is just sort of a cherry on top.
That's right.
Of all of that. And it's the more I've been reading into it and looking into it, it may be a little crowded in the area itself, Oregon, but most people are heading up towards Portland, a bit north of where we are. So I'm hoping it won't be too crowded. And where we're actually going to view the eclipse is in a national forest where there's a wild hot spring with these hot pools that you can soak in that are with the hot water over 120 degrees pouring right out of the mountain, full of minerals, sulfur, silica, lithium, super healing waters in an area where this particular place called Cougar Springs is where the indigenous people for generations in that area used to meet. It was sort of a meeting of minds that would always happen in that space, and you can feel the ancestral energy when you're there, in addition to experiencing just the healing that being in that water offers. So this experience, this retreat that we've been creating, it's multidimensional, it's multi-layered. There's so much to experience and see, and this particular time in August, there's going to be even more than we've ever been able to offer in the past. So it's really exciting. Eclipses themselves, this total solar eclipse is happening historically, and I think you mentioned a little bit, brother, in the beginning, that they are not particularly had to be considered auspicious. They've kind of been considered omens almost in history. And many times, you can look in ancient China, even in Australia, when these eclipses passed over their areas, it was associated with the fall in the government. Many times in history, you can go back and look. So for us, and what's happening with this upside down government that we're dealing with here, I'm hopeful that it's an omen for them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think, when we speak about astrology, I hope I'm picking up here. I don't think, hold up. Check. All right, when we speak about, astrology and solar eclipses, some people think because the country gives the impression of being a Christian country, that this is something that just a couple of weirdos in the underground are into, astrology and metaphysics, and all this weird cosmological stuff.
Pseudo, yeah, say it.
Stuff,
God damn it.
and they don't think the government studies these things and is into these things. How serious do you think the government is looking into this solar eclipse here? Do you think they're taking this solar eclipse serious?
Well, like Noble Ampou always mentions, the vice president lives in the Naval Observatory, you know, and the government is very keen to astrological cycles. Every government in all kingdoms have to be keen of astrological cycles, because there's nobody walking around that is absent the knowledge that astrological cycles govern affairs on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Even the farmers know that. But because we're far removed from agricultural mindsets and our people are really not that politically savvy in regards to controlling things, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't think dynastically. We talk about it, but we're not agriculturists. We're not, you know, people that are controlling governments and responsible for feeding people and moving large bodies of people to different land masses. And we just don't do these things. So we have the comfort to be critics because we're not really about doing the things that are necessary, you know what I'm saying, to see whether this stuff is real or not. But this government, like all other governments, are engaged with these astrological bodies. And Benjamin Banneker Bay set DC up in particular, you know, so they could, you know what I'm saying, benefit from that particular celestial destiny that this country has been built on. So it would be remiss of them not to be mindful of what's going on in the heavens, you know, like all of their forefathers and forebearers have. Kamara?
Right. Well, I mean, we know from as far back, like in Reagan days, when it became exposed that Nancy Reagan was using astrology to help him plan his meetings and timings of things that will be happening in the government. It was a huge scandal, you know. But they've all been doing that all along. But in terms of this particular event, the eclipse, and how you hear millions of people are coming, and I think 90% or more of those people are just stargazers that are into science and not really looking deeper into the metaphysical principles that apply the astrological, you know, the astrological meanings behind everything that's happening. How Brother mentioned also Mercury is in retrograde at that time. And all of this affects it. And if you're looking at it in more of a spiritual way, it's seen as, eclipses are seen as a time where the veils are very thin in terms of the veils between this physical and the spiritual world. So those that work with the spirit world know that it's a time that you can really connect with spirit on a much deeper level. So I think that the layman would look at it, like you said, Christians, they look at it as something really scary because day turns to night in the middle of the day. And especially in ancient times, that was viewed as being a symbol of an end of a cycle. But we also know that in order for us to we need new beginnings. We need newness, right? So I think that that's a blessing that if it represents an end, because it's time for this awakening to enhance, you know, and for these new beginnings to really begin to blossom and open up.
Absolutely.
Indeed, man. I mean, it's definitely going to be a wonderful event. Did y'all give the contact information yet? For
the web address is shastamedicine.com. That's SHASTA medicine.com, and the premise actually is that this area, and like I spoke about, the high vibrational, you know, root chakra, high vibrational vortex area of the planet, there's a very high frequency for healing here. So that just this area, the mountain, the water, the air itself, we consider medicine. So that's the premise of our name, Shasta Medicine. But it also entails, of course, different plant medicines that we work with, meditation as medicine, connecting with one another
That's right.
on a deeper level as a medicine. So the website is ShastaMedicine.com, and I have a page that I've added on the site that says August Eclipse. And if you click there, you can read a little bit more about this particular retreat and all we're going to be offering. And you can click book now and book right there online.
Let me ask you something, sis. What would you say to somebody, they work 9 to 5. After they work 9 to 5, they have to make dinner for their family. After they make dinner for their family, they may have to clean up the home. In order to really get into their spiritual work, meditation, let's say meditation 10 minutes, or let's say they want to go for a therapeutic walk, or, just have some solitude to really tap into that part of their mind, that subconscious part of their mind. They have to sacrifice either their work or their family. So they might tell you, or they might tell Blue Pill, if I got to choose between meditation, my work, or my family, I'm always going to sacrifice meditation, because that seems like the thing that's least important.
Yeah, and it is a delicate balance, and I definitely can relate to that. I've been a single mom and a school teacher at one point in my life, and that just on that grind, and have to come home and cook, and then you're exhausted. And yeah, I do understand that, but it's like most people will say, God and spirit, or spirituality, or yourself, your love for yourself has to be first and foremost. And it's like you're giving and giving and giving of yourself, like you said, to provide for yourself. But if you don't feed yourself, you won't have anything to give. So everything has to start with self. And so, when we talk about how many hours there are in a day, when you really break it down and look at it, there is enough time. There is enough time for you to take out a moment for you. And meditation doesn't require 3 or 4 hours of going into a trance. I mean, it can be, and that's amazing. But I think we talked about it a little bit last time. You could be in the shower. That could be your meditation. Now, you got to take out time to wash up, right? So you could be in the shower, and that could become your meditation time. It's the time that you find peace within yourself and peace within your spirit, and then that trickles down over into everything. You find your work life having more ease. You find your family life having more ease when you're at peace in your spirit. So you have to start there. You make time for that, then everything else falls into place.
Absolutely. People find time to medicate, they'll light one up, they'll go get...
Exactly.
They'll do that. The truth of the matter is, you're going to find time to do the things that you prioritize.
Right,
in our society, in the Western world, in the Black experience especially, we don't really have any social preferences for meditation. Like you said, it's like yoga. It's looked at as a white thing, as an Aryan thing, which could be the furthest from the truth. It's an Eastern philosophy. And you niggas keep saying you from the Eastern world, but y'all don't do no Eastern practices. And it baffles me. So, meditation is universal. Like, there's research on it. You could Google it. Mr. Google will put you on, to all of the latest advancements and all of their medical and scientific research that talks about the importance of meditation. It's the same thing. If you got to find time to engage yourself physically with working out, you got to meditate, you know what I'm saying? You got to reconnect with nature, get out into these parks, take your shoes off, walk around, not in a gentrified neighborhood. Nah, gentrifiers, doggies don't even poo-poo in the park like that. You know what I'm saying? They pick up the poo-poo. So you guys are safe now. Gentrifiers are around. Your parks are clean again. Your sidewalks is even kind of looking sparkly. Remember in New York when the sidewalks?
Oh, that's old school.
You youngsters don't know nothing.
That's old school. Oh man, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's a throwback. So, we live in a different place, man, and just try it out, and we, I have administered, on these retreats, some meditative moments. Okay, we go up in this mountain, and we take our shoes off and we tap into the earth grid, and I show the people in real time how through meditation, you know, the sun will get 10 to 15 degrees hotter, we clear clouds, we connect with our ecosystem. And again, this stuff might sound pseudo spooky to people who never experienced it, but for those that have been on these retreats and have seen some things that defy, you know, all logic, because trust me, people have experienced some things that go outside of the borders or the parameters of the black experience. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the power of meditation is definitely one of them. And we're able to engage in real time and see real results. So a lot of people prior to that, you know, they didn't really know how to meditate, and they didn't feel no way. Once you get in that comfortable environment, you know what I'm saying, that's conducive to healing, and you know, you can open up and be yourself. They like, yo, I need you to teach me how to meditate, you know. And we have some very key breathing techniques, you know what I'm saying. We have some visualization techniques that really impact the meditative experience, and that environment is conducive to you being able to tap in on the highest of levels, because you're at a high altitude. You know what I'm saying? There is, every now and then you're gonna see chemtrails, you're gonna see streaks in the sky, but it's nothing like the inner city where these skies are coated, you know, with a permanent ceiling of chemicals, and the sun rays are not coming in. So you're gonna be able to receive the right amount of solar energy. You know, you getting into your meditative state, you're gonna be able to feel the fluctuation of the sun communicating and changing. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be touched by those sun rays unlike anything that you've experienced in the city, or even probably in the country for that matter. Okay? Because the ionization is different at that altitude with your people. Okay, just the environment of community, you know, the connectivity that we all bring to that table. It's been a special cast of characters that have come on each one of these retreats. We're going on our 5th retreat. No incidents, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody putting no exposed pages up, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no mutinies. None of that craziness to be going on at these other.
It's actually been absolutely beautiful. It's been like a spirit family that's been created through these retreats. Yeah. It's been really beautiful. If I could speak to one other piece, brother, you mentioned visualization, and I wanted to add that on as a response to Rich's question, active visualization, because if I'm speaking to someone who's on a grind the way you describe it, brother, and like I said, I know that mode, and I've managed to break out of it, but I know not everyone has, and I would want to speak to the power of meditation and its ability to help you change your life, reclaim your life, and create the life that you want. And active visualization, as Paul just mentioned, is a big piece of that, you know. And so if you love the way your life is when you're too tired to even think, then go ahead with that. But if you want to create a new way of your life being blissful, full of joy, and feeling that you're touching into your life's purpose and really living your life to the fullest, you have to get in touch with yourself. And meditation and visualization is what does that. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I don't have time to meditate, you may not have a deep understanding of why we're meditating, right? And how powerful it is. And it's really just tapping into your own creative flow energy, your own power of self. And by visualizing during meditations, visualizing the way you want your life to be, visualizing what you want to create for yourself and your family, it actually comes to be. That's called the power of thought, the power of mind, and it's real.
Absolutely.
When one of the things that's kind of surprising to a lot of people when you mention meditation and these retreats and things of that nature is that the fact that it is known at this point that it is extremely beneficial to your physical health to meditate.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about your physical health, you think about exercising. I got to get moving. I got to lift weights. I got to jog. I got to run. I got to do something. If I want to lose weight, I got to stop eating this. I got to be on the move. So how is it that a world full of people, or a country, because I don't know, they might think differently in the East, but we live in a country where we think in order to improve our physical health, we have to do something. We got to get off our ass and exercise, do a jumping jack or something. We got this research that says you could just sit there and improve your physical health. Talk to me about that, because that's a whole different way of thinking. Instead of doing jumping jacks,
I think that they're all components.
And improve my health. Talk to me about that.
Right. I think that they're all components of self-healing. You know, we have to look at it holistically. Of course, you need to be active. You need to exercise, but not 24 hours a day, right? You also have to rest, right? The body needs rest. And when we talk about meditation as a healing in terms of having physical ailments, it's because stress causes a lot of this disease, right?
Absolutely.
And so when you meditate, it's a way of alleviating that stress. So that's where the healing comes from. That it doesn't negate the need to exercise, work out, and all of those other things. And of course, eating the proper foods, right? That's really number one. Because you could totally heal yourself without exercising at all, and just changing the way you eat, right? But the thought, the mind, is where the meditation piece comes in, and we control every aspect of our lives, every aspect of our physical being, with our thoughts and our minds.
Right.
So the healing comes there. So that all those components are relevant.
That's an understanding or education that is not readily made available in the West. You understand the connection between mind and body, that relationship of mind over matter. You know what I'm saying? Even how disease is something that's created in, you know, the spirit realm, and it matriculates into the physical. You know what I mean? Like these are things that are not taught.
Right,
definitely in the fields of medicine. AMA ain't teaching you that. You know what I'm saying? American Medical Association, you know, the people walking around in the white coats, they're not giving it up like that. So we're not even primed to see how important the mind is. There's not enough analogies to go around in our community to reinforce how important the mind is. I mean, we see what people do to their temples. You feel me? We've all heard stories. You put $100 in the tank for your Benz, but you put a dollar meal in there, you know, in your stomach.
Right.
You know, so because you experience your spirituality through materialism in the West, then people seem to give more credence. I mean, I can't tell you, especially here in Brooklyn, how many people that you see, especially, you know, older women, you could tell they probably got their retirement or they figured something out. And you can see they're in poor health, but they got the latest Benz. You feel me? You could tell they got the latest Benz. They still live, you know, they live in these areas. I doubt if they're homeowners. You feel me? The gentrifiers moving in, and you know they're young and they're fit and they're buying homes. You know what I'm saying? Our people are buying Benzes. You know what I mean? And there's not enough emphasis that's put on maintaining the body, let alone the mind. How important the mind is. You understand? I told you what our people respond to is trauma and drama. They have a diet that's based in salt and sugar. So the mind is always erratic. The mind is always like, you understand? We live in an anxiety USA. Anxiety's at an all-time high. So the nervous system is shot. You understand? That's based on what's going in the body as well. That's that salt and sugar. People can't sit still. So meditation is something that's going against the Western order of things, the way things are now. Because if people meditated more, anxiety wouldn't be peaking. People wouldn't need perks and Xannies and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you could just look at that as a clear indicator of how less, or you know, how needed meditation is, but how less is emphasized, because you're not getting diagnosed for that. Your doctor, your caregiver, none of them is telling you you need to get into some meditation. Our people is looking at it like it's goofy. So, you know, I would only recommend it, and not enough people know how to. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it really comes down to. You know what I'm saying? We need more tutorials. And, you know, me and Brother Rich and my fitness partner Ty, we got an opportunity to do a demo yesterday. We need to do some more, okay, so we can show people practical things to get their stress levels down. Like, I used to be stressed, you know. I'm 4 retreats in, I'm kind of stress-free at this point. I knocked about 5 or 6 years off my life, so, you know, it's just something that I can't help but recommend, you know, and it's the combination of things, the external and the internal factors. It's the sun, it's the air, it's the water, it's the food, it's the commonality of community, and it's the sacred plants, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's you getting in contact with yourself via nature to, like, really deal with your shit. In an environment there's a no judgment zone. So, we invite the family to participate in the 5th one. Like I said, we are totally indebted to the Black Magic 363 family, because the majority of participants that have come out to the retreat are people that have responded to the you know, the information that comes out across these channels. So this is all an extension of the family. You know, these are folk. You know what I mean? So,
well, like I said, man, I think I got one more question for you guys, man. But I definitely appreciate.
Yeah, Rich said he's gonna be there on this one too.
I definitely want to make this one, man. For that solar eclipse, man.
Yeah, you're gonna bring.
I hope you so. I hope.
We're gonna shoot the documentary.
Black magic with the black.
Black magic with the black magic.
Oh man. Just one last question / comment, and then y'all we can sign out. I've been reading article after article after article throughout the last couple of years about meditation and how the millionaires are doing it more and more, and that it's become a daily habit of a millionaire. I'm reading stories from Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, a whole slew of them who's just talking about how important meditation is to their success. You know, they're talking about how it's one of the secret ingredients that everybody looks past. And I think to myself, and I look at the people in our community that really, you know, they bash it, and it's like our people are listening to the people who are bashing meditation instead of the people who are successful.
They listen to the miserable ones.
Right, they listening to the miserable people.
Defiant ones, yeah.
So it's it's weird to me, and in my mind, I'm wrestling with this in my mind, and I'm saying, okay, is it because they're associating these successful people with being house Negroes or sellouts or the Illuminati?
Yeah,
so that's why
they sold their soul. They had to do something compromising for success.
Yes, but,
so the uncomfortability of success, because success makes unsuccessful people uncomfortable, and they come up with excuses to say, "Man, I don't want to." They don't want to meditate anyway. So the fact that somebody gives them the voice and the language to say, I don't need to be doing that. That's pseudo. That's this. That's that. They're like, oh, thank you. Somebody came along and they rescued me because I was on the ledge. I was about to.
They rescued you.
Yeah, in lotus stance to try to figure this thing out. You know what I mean? Because everybody else, they got a smile on their face. They got a few million in their pocket. This is what they talking about that they be doing. You know, but those people are so far removed from me because they've sold their soul just to be part of the constellation of stars, and you know, me and my lonely station here on Earth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna turn on Housewives.
I guess I'm living up here in the mountains, so maybe I'm far removed because I'm not as familiar with that way of thinking. But I would just probably, like a broken record, just come back to it again and say it's meditate. People have to really understand what the premise of meditation is and why you're meditating. And it's about connecting with yourself on a deeper level. Right. It's about connecting with the vision that you have for your life so that you can create it. Now, I'm not saying you can just sit and meditate and imagine being a millionaire and then you'll be a millionaire. No, but you can meditate and become in a deeper communication with your inner self to learn what your life purpose is, to follow your passion, right? To end up being maybe not to the level of an Oprah or so on, but to be living, as she says, your best life. meditation is a part of that. It's because it is getting in tune with who you really are, what you really want. It's about you connecting with you. So I don't understand the mentality that would say, oh, that's pseudo, or that's something I don't want to do. Some people are running from themselves, right? Some people are avoiding themselves, right? So those are the ones who don't want to meditate. See? So they have other things they need to work through first. A lot of people are afraid of success. And that's the only reason why they're not successful. The only hindrance really in this life is our fear that we project. So, some people are afraid of success. So those kind of things, or that kind of way of thinking, to me, is fear-based.
That's right.
What you're describing, which is fear-based. People really fear success, and I don't know why or where it comes from, but I know that it's possible to overcome that. And again, I was going to say, I'm not saying you can sit and meditate and life will just magically become perfect. You have to follow that up with a radical action, right? You have to do the works necessary. But once you come to peace within yourself and your own spirit, and you decide, this is what I'm going to do with my life, this is what I'm going to create, now you're ready to go put hands on deck, right, and do that work to make it happen.
So, this is not just about turning on a light bulb, and putting a particular, increasing some wattage on your spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's about setting your spirit on fire. You understand? So once you see it, okay, as Pop said, you can see it, then you can achieve it. You know what I'm saying? And everything that we participate in, especially on this channel, is about you, family. It's about you. It's about self-help. It's about giving you the tools so you can help yourself. And for those of us that have utilized these tools and we've just made an incremental improvement in our lives, you know what I'm saying? This is our living testimony to say, I tried it out. It works. Okay? I tried that other stuff out and it don't work. So, which pill do you want to take? It's on you at this point. But this is about you helping yourself, you know what I'm saying? And then expressing the fact that amongst commonality of community, people are also able to, for those that already helped, lend advice to others that need the help, you know what I'm saying? Become that helping hand. But this is always going to come down to you, family. It's always going to be, you walking away from this program in particular and saying, you know what? I got 10 minutes to put to the side. And even if I don't know how to meditate, I got YouTube. So I could give you a tutorial on how to do that. You know what I'm saying? I could go to Google and find out anything that I need to know. And if I don't, rather than getting in the comment section and being a troll, I can ask a question and get me some advice that I need, because I'm part of a quote unquote community, even if it's an online social one. There's answers for you out there. And once you try it and you see, right, based on you applying yourself in the most proper of ways, and there's not one way to do anything, you know what I'm saying? Once you receive the benefits of doing something in the way in which you felt was the best way to do it, then you can speak with authority to be like, yo, I feel a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? I went to sleep a little bit earlier and there wasn't so much noise in my head. I woke up without my alarm clock. You feel me? Like, I programmed myself to wake up. I told myself what I wanted to do, and myself did it. So if I could start with something as small as waking myself up, how farther can I go with this? Okay, I'm gonna do my millionaire mindset practice of writing down at night before I go to sleep how much money I want to make tomorrow. And then when you see them 15 or 50 racks come in, now we're dealing with an eye opener. So this is the cycle. This is the setting ablaze of spirit on fire that these millionaires are speaking of. They took a baby step and they saw that there was something there. And then that baby step turned to leaps and bounds, and then now they're where they're at. And the only thing that they can attribute it to is that baby step initially that they took. You know what I'm saying? So that's the secret that they're talking about. And this is not what they've packaged and sold to you as the secret, quote unquote. And then it is. It's the law of attraction. We're not going to continuously have this conversation with people that are naysayers to say, oh, that stuff don't work. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are just spinning y'all wheels, X, Y, and Z. when the people that you're listening to, the people that you're looking at are testimonies to it. Because this is how we've achieved what we've achieved. This is how you are even part of a community that you call as a community. It started as somebody's thoughts. You understand? So, for those that want to do, the doers, you know what I'm saying? For those that want the experience of a lifetime, utilize this information, try it out for yourself, okay? And for those that want to take it to the next level, come on the retreat, okay? So you can do it around people who know what they're doing. It can help you, to do what you want to do in regards to utilizing this beautiful body, this life, this mind that you have is the tools for which you've been furnished with to make change in this world. But the change starts with you, family. Okay?
Wonderful, magnificent advice. I want to thank you and the sister Kamora for coming on the line and joining us and telling us about the retreat.
Yeah, thank you.
And
the Eclipse, yeah.
Yeah, and the Eclipse, which is gonna make this retreat extra special. Yeah. So leave the contact information one more time for the people.
All right, so the website is shastamedicine.com. That's SHASTA, medicine, MEDICINE.com. And again, you can click on the August Eclipse page. It'll land you right with all the information detailing this particular eclipse. But please explore the whole website. I go in depth around the cacao ceremony that I do and sweat lodge ceremony with medicine that we will be having as well. And it's just a multi-layered, multi-dimensional experience, lots to experience. Yes. ShastaMedicine.com.
Indeed, family.
And on that note, this Brother Rich Underground Railroad Productions, we are signing out. I want to say thank you for everybody who signed up for Patreon, everybody who signs up and support on PayPal. See you next time, family. Peace. Peace, family. This is Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figured since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send